In the end of this video, I'm going to be showing you a quick look at Trainz Railroad Simulator 2019, the new version of this game they're working on. I tested this route on it, this Bath, Pennsylvania route on it to see if it worked properly. And also, I decided to try something new for this series. Whenever I do a railroad crossing from another country, it's also going to include trains from that country being pulled by Norfolk Southern, assuming the trains in that country have knuckle couplers. If not, then I might even replace the entire train with a train from that country. You know, I think if a bullet train really had to travel down this line, it might derail because of all the jointed sections of track and just the general unevenness of the distance between the rails. Anyway, without further ado, here's a look at the exact same route moved over to Trainz Railroad Simulator 2019. I moved it to this game to see if it worked properly. And by the way, it took 4.5 hours to get all of the dependencies to work in this game without errors. So let's see if all that works. Well, the game is a little bit laggy with the settings turned all the way up, so let's see if I can make it a little bit smoother by changing the settings around. Okay, the train was just given the message to drive to the track mark, but it didn't go anywhere. Let's see if we can figure out why it's not moving. I gave this locomotive a different horn, but the game didn't save it and instead gave it a different horn. I'm not sure what that's all about. Okay, it turns out I just forgot to start the refueling locomotive. In the older game, if you left the refueling locomotive unstarted and there were some other non-refueling locomotives attached to it, they would just drag it forward. But apparently in this game, it actually has to be on before the train can move. Though I'm not really sure if that's how it works in real life. I'm pretty sure that you can drag a locomotive that isn't currently turned on. Either way, there's a lot of faulty content on this game. Just like it was on Trainz: A New Era when it was brand new. I could probably fix most of them. It would just take a long time, and I don't feel like doing all that all over again. I don't know what's wrong with this game, but the railroad crossings aren't even turning on, even though the train is touching the trigger. I like the new speedometer. It looks less intrusive, but the railroad crossing is not working is a huge letdown for me. In fact, I can't even play this game until they fix this problem. Because railroad crossings are a big part of what I do on my game. Every single route I have has at least one railroad crossing on it. Railroad crossings not working on this game is completely unacceptable, and I still don't know why this is happening, because I checked the railroad crossings and the triggers on the content manager, and they weren't faulty, but for some reason they won't work. I even checked to make sure they were set up right, and they all are, but for some reason the crossing won't turn on when the train hits it. Well, the built-in track sounds sound a lot better in this game. I'll give it that. But still, the railroad crossings are not working. this crossing isn't working either, so neither the jointed railroad crossings nor the railroad crossings from BNSF 50 will work on this game, at least for the time being. I'm pretty sure they're going to fix this later. I mean, they better, or else I'm not going to play this game, because a train simulator whose railroad crossings are not functional, it's not really much of a train simulator at all, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to place a new railroad crossing on the ground just to see if I can even get a crossing to activate. Maybe the problem is it's not working on the ones that were existing. Perhaps if I put a new one on the ground, it'll work. Let's just try making another railroad crossings from scratch just to see if it'll even turn on. Okay, I got the traffic stopper, setting it up for a channel, and setting it to level crossing mode, just like you normally do. I'm not going to add the traffic stopper because if the railroad crossing is working, I'll know the traffic stopper works too. Okay, the traffic slave. And none of these are faulty on the content manager. I set it up for the same channel and put it in level crossing mode. If it's not faulty, then there's no reason why it shouldn't work. I connected it to the railroad crossing. Now I'm going to add a little bit more track to give the train some distance to approach the railroad crossing. And now I'm going to add some triggers for the crossing, ATLS triggers. Does this signal come with the game? Looks pretty good. Still, I wish the railroad crossings would work. Anyway, let's get an ATLS trigger on the ground. This is not faulty on Content Manager, so it should be working. Okay, I have it on the same channel as the traffic controller. And then, of course, the off trigger, the one that will turn the crossing off, that is also on the same channel. Now I'm going to add a little bit more track so the train won't derail immediately after it crosses. Oh, you know what? I haven't tested the derailment physics in this game. I'll do that later in another video. Did I miss something here? Is there a new way to set up railroad crossings in this game? Because if I have to learn a new method of setting up railroad crossings just to play this game, I would have wished for them to, at the very least, have step-by-step instructions on how to set up the crossings. I can't play this game until they get this problem fixed, because all of my routes have railroad crossings on them. They're going to be pretty much useless if I can't get the crossings to turn on.